got into a situation where the only way I could sit was by opening the door and watching the white lines in the centre of the road go past, and it's like, you're in too deep there, buddy. Growing up in the lower Blue Mountains, storms and bushfires were kind of a constant thing there. Particularly fires were always a threat. So around 97, 98, I contacted an early storm chasing group called the Australian Severe Weather Association. They had access to the Bureau's radar back before most people. The reactions I got from actually getting published with this stuff that it's kind of unique. A lot of the stuff tended to be accidentally you were in the right place at the right time, or it was aftermath footage. Whereas now it was like going out for the storms and getting a storm. It was those early days is when I really started to go, oh, there's a huge niche here, and it requires kind of an obsessiveness. I was a man for the job.
Can you talk me through some of the key events that you've worked through, and I guess the photos that have stood out to you?
Yeah, Black Christmas, so 24th of December 2001. And that was where I really saw fire behaviour where it's not just like creeping up and wow, that's big flames, where it's moving, it's like, oh, you really have to move. Fire and rescue guy, just a single guy with a truck by himself out trying to put out flames as they're coming up this hill, and he's like gone, wow, I'm going to get overrun here on foot. So he's hurdling these fences and dropped the hose and like run back to the truck and said, we've got to go. And a couple of shots on the early really bad digital cameras. So in 2002, essentially that past fire season of 2001 just continued, kept moving. One in particular, it started up around Cat Eye in far northwest Sydney and just exploded east-southeast, just hammered into Forest Glen and Glenorrey. At the fire captain's house, he was attending another fire and his wife and child were in the home, and so one of their local units raced up to defend the house, but lost their way in the smoke and slammed into the actual building at probably about 20-30 km an hour, so did considerable damage to the vehicle and injured a lot of them. So they came out all bruised and battered, some broken limbs, broken noses, so there was a bit of a sort of a camera down moment, triaging and helping them out. And then at the same time, it was also such a bizarre day because there was also a partial eclipse, so it's only got really dark, and this shape went on the moon, went in front of the sun, so it was like very Aztec-y, it was pretty weird. And for myself, though, that was an actual digital photography. It was actually a pretty big deal because in the past we were like the slowest form of journalism. Taking a photo, take it back to the office, process it, print it, and it goes into the paper, comes out the next day. Sending it back, they had it on the front of the like our webpage, like bang, and it's there. It was, it essentially just said, this is the way you cover fires, is you've got to be there beforehand.
Nick, so in the 2019 and 2020 bushfire season, you actually covered sort of the region that you grew up in and that fire sweeping through. What was that like?
It was always going to be a bad year if there was no more rain, and there was no more rain. It was a brutal season, just physically and kind of emotionally. Yeah, I was exhausted by the end of it. Have the fire swept past you. The fire and rescue I was with, it was like they would throw up their hands and we were going. We couldn't save a single house on that day. It was, on those days, these guys are, what are you doing here? Like you try it on the big days. That's what you tell them. You go, guys, this stuff it'll be important for today. Nobody will care in a couple of years' time, but in 10 and 20 years' time, you'll go, this is what this community went through. It's critical that there is visual recording of them. So that's kind of the things that really drives me.